Hey guys, I want to tell you a story of one of my students that made and lost about $5 million twice. And there's a few really key lessons that I think can be really valuable to you if you're a trader, an investor, or an entrepreneur, or just anyone trying to build wealth. And if we haven't met, my name's Chris Dunn. I was an early Bitcoin investor, an active trader, and educator in this space for almost 10 years now. So we'll call this guy Jake. And Jake came to one of our trading events in Austin around 2016 and was telling me how he actually traded from just a few $1,000s and built his account up to over $5 million trading on leverage through like BitMEX. And I said, wow, man, that's awesome. Congratulations. Great job being disciplined. And he goes, well, there's a big problem. He goes, I gave it all back. I got too aggressive and I just thought that I couldn't lose. And I went from 5 million way below 1 million. So he gave back like 80 or 90% of it. And so we talked a little bit and I said, well, what do you think were the biggest problems? What caused you to do that? And he said he got aggressive and had the mental mistake, but he also just started taking on more and more risk. Bigger and bigger position sizes, and his goal, he said, well, I thought if I went from a few $1,000s to about 5 million, I thought I could go from 5 million to 50 million relatively quickly. Fast forward a couple years later, we had an event in the Cayman Islands, and after the event, I got a message saying, hey, Chris, can you talk? And I said, sure, man, what's up? He said, I did it again. I built the account back up to over 5 million, got aggressive and blew it up, and now I have less than I did the first time. You hear this and you're like, how could a guy possibly do that twice? How could you work so hard and build up from nothing to like 5 million bucks, blow up, and then do it all over again and make the same mistakes? And from me to you, having coached so many people in this space, I would just say it's a lot more common than you think to see people that build up mass amounts of wealth. People will make life-changing amounts of money and then do that repeatedly. And in this video, I want to talk about some tips that you can employ that when you get to that level, or if you experience that where you have life-changing gains, if it's a trade or an investment or a business that you sell, or if you have just a really massive profitable year in a business, what do you do with that cash? How do you invest it wisely and not lose it again? And the first thing I would say is don't believe the narrative, okay? So in Bitcoin, we have this narrative of exponential gain, right? And what that does is it causes people to take on exponential risk. They don't take profits, they let their position sizes get out of control. A lot of times they can't handle the drawdowns and they end up selling at the lows, or they end up losing too much leverage and then getting margin called. The first thing I would recommend to anybody that has life-changing gains, I don't care what the asset is, if it's Bitcoin, real estate, stocks, if you have a life-changing amount of money in an asset that you're saying this can meaningfully change my average day-to-day to where I don't have to worry about money for the rest of my life, I would say pull that amount out into liquid cash that would support you for a minimum of 3 years. That way, if the shit hits the fan and everything goes to zero, you have the ability to not care for at least a few years. Now, the flip side of that is if you have too much cash and you're underinvested, inflation's gonna erode at your net worth. If you are, say, 90 or 100% in Bitcoin and you can't stomach the volatility, you're gonna do things like sell the lows and get over leverage and all those things. So again, my recommendation is if you make a life-changing amount of money on a trade or a position, pull out an amount that would sustain your lifestyle. How do you determine how much to pull out? Well, you ask, if this crashed by 90%, how much would I have wanted to pull out? Or if it 10x's from here, how much would I have wanted to have left on the table? And by looking at those two scenarios, you can do what's called following the no regrets risk management strategy, because trading and investing is all about making decisions today with high stakes based on an uncertain future with no guarantees, because we don't know what the markets are going to do. Yeah, we can have an idea, we can have mental models, we can look at the stock to flow of Bitcoin, we can say, oh, the stock market goes up this much on average every year, but we can't predict the future. And so the only way to guard the most important thing, which is your mindset in the markets, is to manage your positions in a way that you would have no regrets no matter what the markets did. And you might be saying, well, Chris, I don't have a $5 million trade yet. Yeah, that's the point. You want to know this and plan for this before you get there. Because if you're caught up in greed or you're caught up in the excitement of massive profits and you don't have a plan ahead of time, you are way more likely to fuck it up and to give it all back than if you thought about this ahead of time and had proper preparation. So I want to hear from you guys in the comments. If you've had a massive trade that you've messed up and given a lot back, let me know what that was like and how you've recovered from it or how you're trying to recover from it. Or if you had a massive trade and you were able to pull profits out, let everybody else know how that feels and how nice it is to not worry about giving everything back. If you agree or disagree with me, leave me a comment and just let me know. I read every single one, and I want to get a dialogue started and help more people hold on to the wealth that they work so damn hard for. And guys, I'm also getting ready to kick off a daily free newsletter that's all about helping you develop skills to build real wealth. It's everything I've learned in the past 20 plus years of being in the markets. I'm just really excited to launch that. So I put a link in the description below. Check that out. It's a free email and audio experience that I'm going to be sending out every single day. So go ahead and check that out, and I will see you in the next video.